SteelSeries, we make the headsets, mice and keyboards that the world's best gamers win the most with. And we've been doing it since way back. It's up to you how far you go, but whatever you do, go for glory.
Foxdrop predictions are in shambles after this one, but thankfully for LLS to take yet another victory. For Blue Whites, they're still searching for it. They almost found gold, but in the end they were robbed of it from LLS. So let's talk about how they actually showed up. Blue Whites, I feel some difference in the team.
Yeah,
we said coming into this game, that Blue Whites were 0-4, but maybe they're better than an 0-4 team. Well, now they're an 0-5 team, and same thing, right? They're better than an 0-5 team. Like this game, they were winning for a lot of it, and they were in the driver's seat for a long time. You know, they had a Fed LeBlanc mid, they had a Fed Varus spot. They just lack that kind of coordination, and Lightside, credit to them, able to get back into the game, find their angles and get good engages. But yeah, it is a disappointing game to lose if you're Blue Whites, no doubt. But to be perfectly honest, a lot of positives coming through as well. And I would also just like to say we omega curse Sumi coming into this game. Right, we even had a graphic with his face on it. Right,
yeah,
how great this man is. And that was.
It starts with success. So let's be real. Sumi was outclassed here. This is, like I said in Champ Select, this is a Taliyah favored matchup. Like, it's not like a hard stomping lane, but the Taliyah has the edge versus LeBlanc. Custom absolutely slammed them in this lane. Like, that was just complete outclassing. Multiple solo kills from the LeBlanc. Really, really impressive stuff from the Blue Whites mid laner. I can't take that away from them. They were 3,000 gold up at 15 minutes. Really, really solid game. I think the big issue for Blue Eyes right now is I think they struggle to play from ahead, and I think they need to start working on how to use your gold lead and extend that into a victory, how to make that gold lead even wider using the resources you've already gained. Because they are a team who I can just taste that success from them. They are so close to being actually a good team. But right now, there's just a few little holes in that ship that's causing it to sink. So I'm excited for the next few weeks. I mean, we're only on to week 3, so it's still early days. They joined the league late. I think it's fair for us to give them their due diligence and a little bit of time to kind of warm up, because they had way less time to get ready for this season than everyone else did. But I do want to start to see some growth from them, and because I think the foundation, I think the base level of this team is actually a lot better than the score currently says.
I totally agree. So that's why we're going to toss it to the interview to talk with Against yet again about what happened. And there he is. Before we start this one, I would like to publicly apologize, because in the Prime League, Germany, Jack's support has been picked with Hail of Blades. And he won.
Yeah.
The tech is there.
Yeah, I basically sold the idea to him, so... Or I sold it to Simply, a friend of mine, and he sold it to his team. So they've been playing it a lot, and it worked out for them. I'm glad.
I'm watching. See, I'm watching. I'm paying attention. Now let's talk about you. There were really good signs. It looked like the game was going the way you guys were looking forward. So tell me about how did you achieve that point, and when it just started to go down, and why it went down.
Yeah, I mean, the game looked really good for a solid 15 to 20 minutes, but then we got caught a lot in very bad places, or we're recalling badly, or stuff like this, and then gave kills to the Smolder, who then could carry the game, since that was their only win con at that point. So that was kind of awful, but it's fine, happens. I mean, I think we've learned a lot and we've improved a lot, so I think we'll be much stronger from this on.
That's the thing. There's a lot of improvement from the team. The team is not lowering their arms. I think the previous time you guys lost, it was mostly like, oh, we lost, GG, go next. This time there was something different. It seems the mentality is going towards someplace else. What do you believe is the shift in the team? How have you seen the team shifting from the position they were in to where they are now? Do you think it's like the time and adaptation you're taking into this league and you're finally realizing, hey, we're on Division 1, we can pull it off. We can pull it off. It's about momentum and working on ourselves.
I mean, I gotta give credit to Custom, our new mid laner. He has been like really helpful, really good. I mean, he capped Sumi that game like completely. He looked really good, and I think we'll be a real contender. Maybe next week we'll see about tomorrow's match, but I think at least next week we'll be a real contender.
Damn, I like that. Those are really good words. It's always a pleasure to talk to you, and there's some success on the Jack support, and I really enjoy the fact that you guys are pulling through. So, congratulations. I don't care what anybody says. The team is looking good. Congratulations.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah.
I'll see you soon. It's good to know that like a little shift in the mechanism on the motor itself is making the entire car move towards where they want to. This is really important. Sometimes it's just that little piece, you know? Sometimes it's just a piece of mentality. That's really important.
Yeah, and it seems like they're not upset either. It doesn't seem like these losses are getting to them, because ultimately it looks like they're learning from these losses. It looks like they are taking valuable kind of information and then moving it forward into the next games. And you know, their progress isn't in the stats itself, but in their play style, which eventually should start to translate into victories, into wins for them. So yeah, I'm not on the hype train yet, but I can see myself starting to get excited by this team. Are they a playoffs contender? Mm-hmm. That is a big ask, but I do expect them to be out of any relegation positions by the end of the season. I think they're a very, very solid team.
You know what? When I practiced Muay Thai, my sensei told me something. You have to receive pain in order to deal that pain. And I had the hospital in speed dial, and I received a ton of pain. So that's how you get it better at life. At least he told me. I don't know. I never agree with him. I'm just saying. So let's talk with Fruity Fresh on the other side, because we have to talk with the winners as well. Hello, mate.
Hello.
Doing? I saw that swing over. What happened there? Were you teasing me? What happened? I was really expecting this fight.
It's just a mental advantage against Blue Whites, because last split in Div 2 we got 2 games from them with like Swain on regular split, and I think they didn't really like it, and now they just started banning all my mages on last playoffs and this regular split, it seems. So some mental edge there.
That's mean. But you also played the Swain. We talked about it. Obviously, You played Aurelian in that, but you played the Swain, correct?
Yeah, for sure.
Can I get you to, if one day you pick the Swine and you win, I want you to do a cosplay of like a crow as soon as we jump into the interview. Something like, I don't know, whatever comes to your mind. I just need something. So, Tell me something. Salamander, you brought in the buffed dragon. How does it feel to pilot that one? The buffed, improved version
really
of
great.
Smolder.
Really great, because I love the champ. Champ's so fun to play, like, I just want to play it more. And the buffed, like, now he can actually survive lane pretty well. Like compared to previously, but although this game we had some misplays in early game, not really playing through prios and covering like sides to actually get the farm, so it's pretty hard, but we get through it, so it's fine.
Obviously there's an improvement from Blue Whites, and we've been talking about that. That's obviously an improvement, but on the other side, when you look into this game, let's get the crap and let's talk like real words. You got beat up at the beginning of the game. Does it concern you as you move forward through this?
Not at all. Not at all. Sumi actually got a bit nerfed last night. He woke up with like 40-degree fever or something. So I mean that might have like a slight factor to this, but he'll get better and he'll gonna cap every mid again. It's fine.
Love it. Thank you so much for the interview, Pretty Fresh. It's always a pleasure to talk to you. And I'll see you soon, man. I need that swine. And there he is. He was the MVP. 1403. 14. Look at the damage. 48%.
That's crazy.
They didn't nerf the dragon. Spyro's getting out of control. That ain't right. Whoa. That ain't right, mate.
That's mental. That is 48%, 1500 DPM. Bloody hell. He was getting like it was problematic early game as well, right? He was down like 30 CS. He was struggling. Jeez, that is a compelling stat line for Fruity Fresh.
Yeah,
that's compelling me
used
to
call
Smolder.
Mom, but you never call Mom anymore. You're the dad now. Like 48%.
I knew it was coming. I knew that was coming, man. I don't. Oh, I'm so disappointed in you.
Fast Leg was so close to being the MVP.
Yeah.
But it did some really important hooks. And he also failed some really important hooks. So
There was a moment when we were watching that because the desk decide who gets MVP.
Sorry,
just
guys.
just to break down the fourth wall a little bit there. There was a moment where I said to the other two, I don't think Fastlegs land a hook all game yet. And then immediately after, he started landing all those hooks at the Baron pit. And we're like, okay, that's a bit of a redemption arc. But at that point, they asked us who our MVP was. And we agreed if he misses another hook, he's
gone.
not getting MVP. And we're going to give it to his
it was
ADC.
10 seconds.
And then literally like 15 seconds later, misses a hook. And we're like, right, Smolder, MVP, easy.
Done.
Fast leg, get cooked.
48% as well. I mean, those are some stats. I've never seen that one, by the way. But let's see the last game of the day. It's going to be NORD versus Venom Crest. This is going to be the big one. We're talking about two teams tied up in first place, or currently in second-ish, because Brady just won the first game. This is massive. And talking about massive, I want to bring in two specific players. They're not from the same line, by the way. It's Nille and Lingard, because to me, Nille is like the wall. Look at this monster. This guy is like, I don't need to farm. I will just block everybody and be the biggest nuisance in real life. He's such a good top laner. On the other side, though, you have Lingard, who plays completely different champions. You never know what to expect from him. And look at the amount of damage that he deals with, the amount of gold that he brings in. To me, that's really important. 31% consistently with almost no amount of gold. Like, when you look into these two teams and we see these two players, what pops into your mind?
Nilly to me is always the one who jumps out. He feels like he took up Shikari's mantle in the region when Shikari moved on. Shikari is obviously a player who was just such a stone wall you couldn't break down. Was someone who would basically just never lose lane. Nilly, I think I've seen him lose lane like once this season so far. He's just consistently very solid top laner. As you can see, down in CS, down in gold or experience, because he gets a lot of attention put onto him. People go up to deal with Nille, and it doesn't ever work out for them, or if it does, it comes at a pretty heavy cost. So I always think of him whenever I think of the team, because he's just such a consistent top laner. And I think that's super important, because most of the time, I don't think junglers really play towards top as much as they do the other lanes. So you just want someone who's not going to be a problem. If you have a top lane that's not going to bleed out, it means you can focus on your mid, you can focus on your bot, and then you can play around those two lanes, and then Nille would still be there to do his job when he's needed later.
Yeah, I agree fully. Like Nille is just, he's a stone wall top side. It's always someone you can rely on as well, and I think that's like a really big boon for NORD. You just know Nille is always going to be a huge factor in the game. Like it is prophesied every single game it will happen, and he's very versatile and flexible in the champions that he can play and what he picks as well. Whether it's more of the carry style champions like we saw him play Rumble before. Maybe even Jax as well, or something like the bruisers, like the Aatrox or Nectons, that kind of thing too. So he'll pick loads of different things. It's hard to ban him out. It's hard to really shut him down. And as such, he'll always be a threat. He'll always be a problem. And don't give him Skarner.
We move on into the pick and ban. Tell me.
If I'm going to be honest, when it comes to top lane, I think Lenny might be one of the weaker spots for Venom Crest. Like, he can really pop off. Don't get me wrong, but I also do see him occasionally getting caught, sometimes making mistakes and going down. So you put him up versus Nille. This is the kind of matchup where I actually think Nille could shine and kind of channel his inner carry. I've got a lot of props on Nille right now. I think this is a good matchup for him, but picks and bans are going on while we're talking. Most importantly, things like the Corki is open, Cassante is still open, Skarner banned away, Triss banned away. So yeah, I feel like with the Corki, Cassante open, someone could get their hands on that. But after last game, I can't rule Smolder out anymore. That is a scary one.
Yeah, I think teams might be a little hesitant still to pick the Smolder, because to be honest, he shouldn't have got to that point where he was such a big deal, right? Because I think, you know, Lightside had kind of lost control of the game, and perhaps versus stronger opposition, they would have just not been able to get back into it. It's going to be that Maokai first pick here for Venom Crest. That's going to be slammed down, most likely in the jungle position for Theocast there as a heavy ganking option, matched by the Sejuani, who honestly does very similar things, to be honest. I'd say it's kind of like a post-6 versus pre-6 style tank matchup there with the Maokai being more leaning towards pre-6. Wow, and if this roll gets slammed in, how much crowd control in the first 3 picks here? This is what happens when ADCs and physical damage champions are so strong in the meta. You just pick crowd control, especially if you look at all of the meta ADCs. They have like very, very low mobility in people like Jinx, people like the Varus we saw as well. You've seen like Philios get slammed down and picked up too. Like all of the strong ADCs don't have great ways to peel for themselves. So yes, crowd control very, very strong right now. And
Wow.
is there
But no
could you
carry.
pick more crowd control? Honestly, if you try it, I don't think so.
That's the thing, you're just building up crowd control, but you have no one to deal damage yet.
Not
Corki
yet,
has been
yeah.
available on the sideline, like, guys, pick me? No?
There it
Okay,
is.
there he goes, but that's a lot of CC.
That is a lot of CC. Very scary for the Corki, because if that Valkyrie is bud at the wrong time, they could just easily get popped. I'm curious what the answer is going to be here from NORD. Obviously, Corki flexible, so NORD have to kind of keep in mind that this could go mid, this could go in the bot lane. Interesting what they're going to pick up for the ADC front, because not much has been left. I guess a fair amount's been left open. You got the Caitlyn, you got the Jinx, you got the Varus as well. Looks like they're going for the Jinx. They're going to put a lot of faith in Nilly and, well, in the whole team to basically make sure that XC isn't getting caught out. But moving into the ban phase now, I expect to see either top laners or bot or mid laners getting banned out. I'm inclined to say they might just ban things like the Cassante and just give Nilly a tanky frontliner who can just absorb pressure for ecstasy, like an Ornn or something.
Yeah, I think that's something like that's a good idea as well, because imagine the meta being such a thing where you're forced to pick Jinx into Maokai, Leona, and it's like you don't have an enchanter on your side either. Like, that's so hard to play with. That is so ridiculously hard. And for me, I would like to see this Corki go bot for Venom Crest, because yeah, the only other options you got for ADC are other really low mobility champions. You don't want to play them into Rel and into Sejuani, and probably whatever Nile is going to pick top lane too. So the Corki, on the other hand, with Valkyrie, with some more range going on there, can kind of deal with himself a little bit more and keep himself safe. We are getting some more bans coming through, though. It is the Way, which is probably a mid lane ban, but again, that has been flexed down bot side a lot as well. Yeah, a lot of flex picks coming through here so far, and because both teams have picked, like, arguably most likely the same roles here in jungle support and bot lane, you really can just ban away whatever you just don't fancy playing against here. So
Skip a ban?
That's a skip, yeah.
Oh,
I think that is a skip.
Yeah,
No,
is.
that
They
is a
skipped
skip.
the
That is a skip. Yeah.
Interesting.
So
Okay.
I was waiting for like a Ziggs or something that you can also play as the Way, where you can play bot or even mid, and you can just flex the Corki.
I
But
think
no,
this
they
is the
just skip
Cassante
it.
angle, though, right? They've banned the Aatrox.
it's gotta be.
I feel this has to just be Cassante for Nile and just give him something which he can just pilot the top lane on. And then counterpick mid, or they go for
That's
the
Hunt.
Yone for Hunt.
That's
a
yeah.
lot of AD, though. So maybe Nilly is
Yes.
gearing up for a Rumble pick here. and
Rumble's
baking
banned.
the
This is
Cassante
it.
up.
Rumble would
Oh,
be
he is
sick, but
banned.
he is banned. Yeah, I agree with you though,
Can it?
Jake. That would have been a really good pick. And,
Oh, but
and
if you
Lene is
pick Cassante-
100% going to slam
Oh.
this Cassante down. There's like
Oh,
no
wait.
doubt in my mind.
Wait, hold
No.
on. It's Sejuani top, isn't it? It's going to be Lilia or Karthus jungle.
Yeah, that would also
thought
make
about
sense
that,
as well.
yeah.
This would be a good flex. Yeah.
Either you go
But-
for that or like a Gragas on the top lane to try and get
Oh, you
some.
could do Gragas as well.
yeah.
I forget that
Yeah.
champ exists sometimes, but yes, you could do the Gragas.
Yeah, we haven't seen a lot of it, but certainly could
I'm
be a
inclined
thing.
to say I'd
yeah.
like the Karthus here, but there's a lot of front line to play for. Oh my
This-
word.
yeah.
That's
Oh,
not getting
please.
locked, right? I mean,
Oh, that
is
would be
brutal.
so interesting. But
No, it's Corki mid, Kai'Sa bot.
Corki
Okay.
mid, Kai'Sa bot.
Mm.
You have like low range for the team with Sejuani, Rel, and Yone. You're putting yourself in that position. Now you can play for
Yeah.
the duel. Now you can look in the challenge and say, Cassante, okay, I accept the challenge.
I just worry. There's so much AD if you lock this in. I know technically he only does a little bit of magic damage because of his passive.
Oh my God,
That's
Sarah,
it.
That's it.
I-
That's it. Yeah.
I was about to quit my job. There. Okay, so Gwen
Nille.
fills that hole. It does fall into the similar issue you were talking about though, Archer, in the low range. Oh, I think it was Foxtrot actually was talking about that. You are very low range as a team here. Okay, thanks, Archer. It was you. Sorry, give you your shout outs. You are incredibly low range, but This is a brawly team. In a team fight, this is very brawly. Jinx is just going to be peppering on the outside with the rockets, and everyone else is just going to be getting caught in a CC chain. Sejuani has it so good this game. Both mid and top are really good at setting up her passive and making it for ganks. So I think Ecstasy and Romeo are going to have to do their best to not int the lane and play safe while mid and top get fed, because that's going to be Nord's game plan.
This is why I think as well, if you're Nord, you might not even want a 5v5 at this point.
True.
You play for side lanes, you put Yone in the side lane, you put Gwen in the side lane, and then as you say, the Sejuani matches up so well with them, you can move along to them and tackle whatever it is. Lene will be safe in a side lane on that Cassante if he's matched into Yone or Gwen. But someone like the Corki absolutely won't be. And so if you're Venom Crest, you're going to want to group up a little bit more. You're going to want to look for those 5v5 team fights. And if you're Nord, I don't think you want to. I think you want to play towards your side lanes a bit more. Get NLA doing his thing. Get Hunt doing his thing on the Yone. And yeah, it's kind of just like, if you're Ecstasy, just try and not get picked out when you're by yourself holding a tower.
I like that mission. Nord versus Venom Crest. Top 2 teams. We talked about the big 3, but at the end of the day, only another one can join Ruddy at the top of the table. To find out who's going to be that team, well, let's toss it one more time. And the last time for Duckling. And who's there?
It's Rudy
Wow.
here with me. Wow, now you're the one to get random checked, huh?
I got ran checked. I know.
Yeah, you
fair
got
enough.
random checked. That's crazy. That is actually crazy, though. Regardless, we are about to make it into the final game of the day. Game of the day as well. That's the same thing said twice, meaning different things here, though. As it's Venom Crest versus Nord. This draft is interesting. I'm obviously always excited to see Lenny on the Cassante, something he got famous for in the NLC and Spring Split, right? Having good performances on that. But overall, this draft, I'm not sure. Go on, Rudy. Do you have anything interesting?
Overall, this draft, end sentence. I love that. That's my play-by-play.
It's some
right
cooking.
there.
It's some cooking.
That's my play-by-play. No, I mean the desk actually did a really good job highlighting the majority of this draft. For Nord specifically, they have a lot of options. I think Foxtrot really nailed it with, you have Yone, Gwen as side laners. We don't need to 5 versus 5 necessarily. A lot of the concerns that they had were that this Nord composition was actually really short-ranged. I think that's a pitfall that Venom Crest also slightly fall into. Kai'Sa typically wants to dive in, wants to be one of those down and dirty AD carries who dives in, makes damage in that short distance. And Corki as well, with the way he got reworked, again, wants to be auto-attacking in his auto-attack range, not that of a Caitlyn. Obviously still has those rockets, still has an element of long range to him, but so does the Jinx for Nord. So both compositions may struggle with that short range nature, but when you've got 2 compositions that both are really short range, the effectiveness of engages become really important. And at that stage, you're looking at your engages in particular. So Simpete, Romeo, the 2 engage supports that we've got, really need to put their money where their mouth is, find those engages, and find the correct targets as well.
Yeah, when you make that analysis, then we look at the engages, right? I look at both the drafts here, and I think engage support on both teams. Junglers can also find the engages from the marker, can either flank with the ultimate, or does have the flash W combo as well. Alex can also get in. So many engages, so much to look forward to in our game of the day here to round out the week number 3. We'll throw it right into the game. So on to the riff we go. One final time here today. Dude, it is Venom Crest up against Nord. 2 3-1 teams fighting. One of these teams will join Ruddy atop the table and will sit there on the throne for at the very least one more day, while the other will be thrown into the slums of a big fight.
Well, with both junglers starting on their blue buffs, we may see some early action here. Usually, if junglers starting on the same side of the map, you can expect to see them meet on that bot side or top side, wherever it may end up being. And this time round, with a little bit of a crossed clear, junglers may end up not meeting for a fair while. Interesting that we get to see Alex moving their way up to this top side, maybe looking to force an early kill onto Lenny, maybe going to try and gank mid through the top side angle. Or maybe that's just where our two junglers meet. But for me personally, coming into this week as a whole, the player I'd been most excited actually to take a look at was Ecstasy, and this was purely based off of the first game of the split. Got to watch fairly in-depth, wow, a good attempt from Simpy there, but the principles of laning for Ecstasy seem really, really solid, really understanding the core principles, and never really looked like he was having standout games on his wins. And even the game that they lost, right, NORD were ahead for the majority of that game, could very feasibly be 4-0 right now. But Ecstasy has always been consistent and always just feels like a reliable AD carry that you can look back to and look on for a carry performance. And when you've got a Jinx, that's exactly what you need, and that's a quality that you should value.
Oh yeah, and all of this happened on the bot side, by the way. Ecstasy's down to half HP somehow. I think Simpy found a good opportunity to get some poke down, but I very much do agree. Obviously, as a play-by-play, I didn't look at it and think, I think he has good lane fundamentals, he has not standout games. I've been looking at the team fights thinking, oh my god, big damage, big numbers, big scores. But there is no doubt in my mind, regardless of how you look at it and how in-depth you go, where Ecstasy is certainly a good AD carry in the league, and him and Hunt, previously playing together on Sven Vesta, making EME masters. You can clearly see why, because this is a very, very strong carry duo.
No doubt, and now you get to see a little bit more power that the Jinx has. We talked about it in game number 1, the ability to control a wave. If Ecstasy wanted this to push, it would have done, but just drawing the jungler down to that bot side, whether or not they knew that Theocast was on their way or not. As soon as there's an element of danger vis-a-vis a dive, just use your rockets, trim the wave down, make sure that that dive has pretty much petered out before it even happens.
Little pause here early on, just 4 minutes in, hopefully nothing major yet again. I've positively cast the coast at the Falmer break and made it end quicker than no one would normally expect. Let's see if that happens again though. But slow start. I agree with the point you've made about Ecstasy. Is there anyone else that you want to throw into the mix to and have a bit of a chat about Rudu? Now we have the time.
Yeah, I think the other standout for me from last split was Lenny. Venomcrest obviously sort of rebuilding around Lenny with their new roster that they've picked up for split number 2. And what I really enjoyed was actually the interview that we got also from week 1, where I can't remember who quite we were talking to from Venomcrest, but Archer asked, oh, you know, is Lenny that calming presence on the team, you know, the more veteran voice that's just sort of telling people to not get too hyphy? No, that's just not the case. Lenny was the one who was calling for the action, calling for the fights, and I think that is an element of leadership as well, that they sort of admitted, you know, yes, he's had that experience in Division 1, so we are looking a little bit more toward him for those types of calls, but that goes both ways, right? If you see somebody who's doing something illegal, you have the right to sound the alarm and try and punish them for it.
Yeah, that's certainly true. Obviously, Lenny, one we know can get solo kills, so there's no doubt in my mind that he, at the very least, is able to go for the action, as you say. If he spots something illegal, he's willing to slam down and stop him in his tracks. But this top lane, though, it's a very high matchup. We saw this last bit as well on the exact same teams, Nile versus Lenny. Nile is, been around for years now in the NLC ecosystem, and I still really think about how he went from being a good top lane in our league, when then last year on Verdant, he really came into his own and became one of the best players in our league. Really, I want to say over the course of the full year at the very least, having multiple standout performances while being prioritized incredibly heavily by his team. Verdant really putting resources into putting him ahead.
Yeah, I remember 2023 spring was when we got to see split push Nilla, and Verdant were looking insane with the early season split pushes, and with the summer split as well, Nilla continued that success. I do remember though, last split, at least in the majority of our All-Pro voting, Nilla not quite making it to the same highs that specifically Lenny was doing for this matchup. Lenny was, ones and twos pretty much across the board from at least our casting duo, where
this
Nilla
though
was...
Oh.
Okay.
Sorry to interrupt, though. Felt like that could have been something there, as the mana buy in particular was incredibly low on Lenny.
The back side of that point being that Nilla was not somebody in contention for the ones and twos of All-Pro in top lane last split, where Lenny certainly was. So there is an element of point to prove for Nilla this time round. No better chance to do that than up against the person who, for the most part, was having his number last split.
Yeah, I think that's a very good point, right? And it also ties into how Nile this year has to redefine himself, because as we talked about last year, it was these early split pushes and him being played for the whole team. It feels like a NORD, he's having to start into a different role. Yes, he can still carry, he's rock solid, he's one of the better tops in the league, and best tops I still want to say, to be honest, in our league. But he's not getting as much jungle attention anymore, not being pushed as far ahead by his team, and that led to it feeling, compared to 2023, when he was played for so much, there is a bit of a difference there in how he performed.
I love these early itemizations and also getting a lot of panning up to this top side just because it has been fairly action heavy. A lot of trades going to come through when you've got these two top laners up against one another. Early Negatron Cloak for Lenny versus the plated steel caps coming through. Really high value items for both of these carries, or for both of these rather top laners, I should say. Negatron Cloak obviously going to have a lot of impact when you've got double magic damage on top and jungle, and of course those plated steel caps up against K'Sante going to do very well in the early stages. But then I look at the carries the Venom Crest have drafted for themselves. Well, Kai'Sa, Corki, they're both dealing a lot of physical damage, so immense amount of value from that armor.
And while we are just on the topic of what we discussed before, in the meantime though, something happened across the map. 3 Void Cups were taken from NORD, and Venom Crest were able to claim that first straight, just so we're completely caught up to where we stand at the moment. Level 6 have been hit as well, and in particular I'm interested in how when we look through all the lanes, it almost feels like every time we look, one of the teams are looking for something at the very least. Hunt trying to poke down Fierce, Romeo maybe positioning for an engage as well. It definitely feels like there is trading back and forth, and it's just a matter of time really when that will lead into the first blood.
And the thing to remember about champions like Yone, when they're taking these even trades versus champions like Corki, there's a difference in not just health but also the mana. Yone can go for these trades at will and doesn't have to worry about a resource bar, whereas obviously Corki goes out, goes for a trade, and nice little sidestep there on the bot side, but they don't know that
the flash the W! Theogax shows his face, a good reaction from Ecstasy, but it was at a heavy cost to both summoners used.
Yeah, really fast cleanse slash there, and without seeing them in the brush, that's genuinely very impressive.
No flash from Lenny. Yeah, the needlework doing some work, but not enough. Lenny popped the ghost though, so definitely gained something from that, Nile, you could say.
And look who's on the top side of the map. Alex here is going to be stealing away a blue buff as opposed to looking for a dive on the top side. Still really difficult to try and take out Lenny when he has that all out available, and you've just used the needlework as well. Maybe a world where with enough HP they could make it work, but not something that they're looking for just yet. As Lenny continues to be a bit of a presence! Dive now! Dive! Go!
But here it is though, Alex misses the ultimate, and now Nile will run him down. He has the ghost, and instead it's Alex, the youngster, who picks up the first blood.
Alright, so an assist for Ecstasy as well, so a little bit of gold seeping into the bot lane there. Also first blood on that top side. Lenny with no TP, he's going to miss out on a few waves. We see Hunt, once again, getting quite aggressive versus his counterpart in the mid lane, but a big win for NORD on that top side.
I do want to say though, every time we look mid, Hunt is going forward, but this early game, Yone not doing much damage in the auto attacks, and it feels very weird saving fire 5-6 auto attacks off, and Fierce just doesn't really care, and that's how the trade ends.
Well, enjoy it while it lasts, Duckling, because I played enough games versus a Yone that yeah, and it's going to take less than 6 auto attacks for me to get 100 to 0'd later on if I'm playing AD carry. And Ecstasy, really nice angle. Typically when you're looking for these cross-map ultis, doing it from base just gives you a better chance at hitting them. I'm looking at champions like Ashe in particular. But Lenny, of course, really solid stuff, trying to get himself out to safety, but unfortunately, having dodged the Glacial Prison, then all out's back in, because it's the only real way you can get the ability off, but ends up falling, ends up going down, and first blood unfortunately does go to Alex as opposed to Nilla, but first blood, and the difference that wave, more so than anything, is going to make is going to be really impactful and helpful for Nilla as well.
Engage here from Romeo feels a bit forced, to be honest. There's not much comes of it. Alex and Hunt were in the area.
That's a big trade. Look at Simpy's health. He's limping away.
Barely survives that fight. Very close. Yes, the blood is about to be spoiled, and now they're re-engaged. They want ecstasy. No summoner spells this time, remember, after last one. And he's in a whole heap of trouble as Theokex steals the kill. These junglers kill hungry, that's for sure. Romeo crash downs out to safety and now 1 for 1 on the kill board.
Alright, well, again, what great response that is from Venom Crest. Having burned Ecstasy Summoner spells about 3 minutes ago, knew that the timer was going to be elapsing fairly soon and made that play happen down on the bot side within just enough time. I'll also draw your attention to Theokex's items as well. Liandry's in the back pocket for the Maokai. Phase Rush as well, so this is much more geared toward dealing that magical damage, and an element of the profile that we'd maybe thought might be lacking is now being picked up a little bit. Full AP Maokai could very well come to fruition as we get another glimpse at how all that started. Ecstasy unfortunately gets clipped by the inner ring of the Solar Flare, stunned up, and from there on in really has no way to go.
Crazy that Theokex gets the kill there with the ultimate in the end. And yeah, let's just bring it back to where we are live though. Void drops are about to be taken. This is Nord who wants to get all 6 of them. As Nila fights Lingard early on. I thought initially that was Letty. Woohoo! This Gwen is dealing damage. Nice block there by Simbi to ensure his AD carry will make it out to safety. Yeah,
we've just seemingly forgotten about bot lane. We do not care for that
no
at
one's
all.
down there actually. What?
So maybe head toward the dragon now as well. So 6 full Void Grubs for Nord. If they get any access to turrets, they're going to be really loving it. And this really reinforces what Foxtrot was mentioning on the desk, that Nord don't need to 5 versus 5. Yes, they've got Jinx, and if they can find a first reset for the Jinx, she's probably going to pop off. But if they can play split push, if Nilla can get farmed and play versus the Cassante, if Hunt feels comfortable side laning versus Fierce, they're going to be more than happy to try and take these 1 to 2 auto attacks on turrets and watch them fall under the Void Mites.
Yeah, and here's just time for a bit of an item check as there is the second Drake of the game available. Venom Crest, remember, managed to get the first one, and they're also looking to, you know, have a strong spike here. First items completed across the board, so yeah, as you say, should likely get that second one as well, as the spike just haven't come through quite yet for the Northern Rush. Now Romeo caught out CCJ, can he even get the crash down? No, he cannot.
Oh,
Theokex steals the kill yet again.
He needs them. He loves them.
He wants those fantasy points, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Got to get that rabbit on staff cap. He's not going to be working on that with assist money, is he? So,
yeah.
2 kills, absolutely.
This Drake though, safely in Venom Crest hands. Alex is here, but it's just to watch it go down. The market is nice, and I now want to take my time to go towards this Koki discussion. I touched on it in game number 1, but the different build paths that you have available, I'll hold on to that though. I'll see Hunt is out for sure. He is. And in game number 1, we saw the opportunity first build into Collector IE, I believe, very burst heavy, while this time around Fierce different rune in the free footwork alongside getting the Trinity Force first item. Can you touch on the builds here?
Oh, no, actually, I have a replay of Romeo dying, so that's going to take precedent at the minute, and it's a lovely start playing. Again, shout out Theo for being able to take that one down. Honestly, Duckling, the less burst-oriented, when Corky's playing this game out, he's probably going to be hitting a lot of Sejuani. The lethality not going to feel that great when Sejuani is probably going to end up building out some armor, and you know, the diminishing returns on lethality versus armor, not something that you should be looking for. So just opting into something which is probably going to be a bit more consistent in that Trinity Force. We're probably still going to see an Infinity Edge. We may yet even still see a Collector, but the opportunity specifically as an opener just doesn't quite have the same amount of value as we might have seen from a previous game.
And I can make sense of that. Just to have my own 2 cents, I wholeheartedly agree. I just in general like Trinity Force better as this Herald goes down. It's the thing about the Trinity Force, it just feels good to use on the Corki, to be honest.
Oh, the field test. I love it.
Not the field
now
test.
Now you're talking like a caster. No, you're good. You're good, dude.
Maybe it's
I'm completely on your side.
Because I grew up loving to play Corgi with they're going to build Mirror Mana, Trinity Force, Rapid Fire Cannon, and IE 4th item. Those were like the good old days of Corgi, and you can still kind of build that. Now you just build Trinity into IE and then Rapid Fire Cannon. It hurts a whole ton. Spheres with that Trinity Force, the good feeling, will look to take down this turret. As Nila is under a lot of pressure from 3-4 members if Lingard decided to rotate up as well. But Nila able to clear the wave here as the game state is very even 15 minutes in.
Yeah, now we'll get to see the diversifying plans of both of these teams. Expectation is that the side laning for Venom Crest really not going to be as strong as it is for NORD. They should be looking to force 5 versus 5s, force fights in and around the mid lane or around these neutral objectives. But NORD, as you can see, more than happy to throw hands down in that side lane. Hunt already, just ease forward, gets a couple of autos down, that's job done. Slowly be able to whittle down that turret. Kind of reminds me of the times when you used to see Echo played in the mid lane and ulti was on such a short cooldown that you'd go phase rush, you'd go all these on-hit style of items, you'd E forward, hit the turret one time with your E and then ulti out to safety, and then by the time the next wave came back, you'd have your ulti back up again and you'd just rinse and repeat, and it'd take you about 3 autos before you could end up taking it down. We're not in those times anymore, and it might take Hunt a little bit more to do that.
Luckily
Maybe a
not.
little bit of
Luckily
alone
not.
time.
That sounds horrible to be in. Regardless, though, this game is slowly but surely moving towards the more interesting parts. I think it is fair to say. A close affair with a small goal lead, despite the kills being in Venom Crest's favor. The goal in total is in favor of NORD.
Yeah, NORD currently just taking these outer turrets with seemingly very little recompense. Bot tier 1 does go down. Top tier 1 is able to be saved by Fierce and a little bit of presence on the top side by Simpy, by Theo. So not the worst case in the world for Venom Crest just yet, as Ecstasy really the one area of the map that actually a little bit weaker on par versus the rest of his team. Still has a gold lead over Lingard, it is worth mentioning. That cull certainly paying dividends in the long run. That extra death, and now Nilla looking to get focused on this top side.
Yeah,
Ghost
what?
popped.
Fierce TP's in as well. Fierce is the main target. Can they get him in time? Yes, the damage is good, and the kill is secured. Nilla down to half HP, tries to dash out. Hunt re-engages with the Fate Seal, but he's oh so low, taken down by Lingard. Ecstasy dishing out the auto. Same goes for Lingard, though, as Romeo is cut down by the Kaiser. Double kill now. Triple kill potentially as Alex running for the hills. Nilla dying to the bush. Well, I think there's something in there. Oh my god, Theocax! That's why you steal the kills! The Leandris claims it, and Venom Crest, they win the fight.
Yeah, really solid performance on that top side. A couple whiffed ultis from NORD, swing the fight in favour of Venom Crest. Glacial Prison goes wide. Fate Sealed not really onto a high priority target. Nilla, they start up this fight. Yes, they're able to take down Fierce. As soon as spots Theo, knows that the only way out is through, and the rest of the team do a great job at attempting to collapse. As soon as this stun comes through, though, check out the Fate Sealed from Hunt here. Only knocks up the Leona, and then Alex as well, this Glacial Prison. Into Narnia, we'll see you later, buddy. The Kaiser free hitting this whole time, and Lingard really nicely repositioned with the Killer Instinct to get into the right side of that fight and constantly be able to dish out the damage.
Oh my god, dying to the sapling there in the bush as well. Tragic for NORD, as they're now out 500 gold behind the kills. Solidly in Venom Crest's favor. And the thing is, 2 item spikes starting to come through. Look at Lingard. Very happy to be at that spike, because the Drake, the soul point is up on the rift, and it looks like they will claim it for free.
Absolutely. So soul point for Venom Crest, as you'd mentioned, Duckling, and for NORD, question becomes, well, how can we play side lanes when in 5 minutes time we're going to have to contest for a soul? Are we planning on giving the soul entirely, or are we going to be happy to take a 5 versus 5 when we're potentially at a slight disadvantage? All these questions going to need to be answered, and Venom Crest asking all the right questions really, and trying to see if they've got the answer.
Yeah. This Herald will get a chance. Will it get the turret though? Feels like the fight is on the way. TP in the back lane. Notice that it's Nilla coming in alongside Hunt, but they're taking a different route. Theocax, the main target, Exit though, locked up, and Alex, same for him. That's a good engage though. Can Nilla get the damage down? Fierce, Simpy, everyone is in the pit as first reset comes through. Venom Crest though, good disengage from them. Simpy somehow gets out as well. So many resources invested, and it's a 1-for-1 in the end.
Yeah, and Ecstasy just doesn't have the damage at this stage in the game, not versus the slightly durable front lines of Lenny, of Simpy, who have got just enough health to put this Jinx to rest. Lord Dominic's Regard getting picked up, it looks like, very early on, but currently there's very little armor to speak of. They did change the way LDR works. It's more of a armor busting item now as opposed to a HP. They got rid of the Giant Slayer effect on it, so I need to see some armor built up. I imagine it will be at some point, so it's not going to be a completely wasted item, but for right now, not really getting the true value out of it. What's that Runeans though, if that can come through for Ecstasy, if you get an Infinity Edge in there, those are your big ticket items, but again, the way this build path has gone, we're going to be waiting a long time before they're picked up.
Yeah, it's a bit of a slow burner this game. 2 item spikes starting to come there. 3 item spikes still a bit of a ways away for most of these players to stay fever dream for now. Remember, winner of this game go top of the standings alongside Ruddy. The loser will be thrown into DMG and Lightside being in a shared 3rd place with a score of 3-2. Split very much still well and truly alive as we ever so slightly edge closer towards that midway point of the split. After this game, there are 2 more games to go before we repeat the same opponents. Just to check up here. After this, as Hunt, yeah, he's dead. He's there. Yeah, he's just gone. He could try to do something, but there's not much to be done as him and the rest of NORD after this game have Blue Whites and Ruddy to round out their first round, while Venomcrest have Natives and Lightside. So, in terms of strength of schedule, if Venomcrest win this, there's a very real possibility that they could get 2 more wins before we start repeating opponents. So, let's take a look at the fighting one more time.
Yeah, this is that 5 versus 5 in the mid lane. You can see Ecstasy's popping constant auto outs here, but unfortunately, it doesn't quite have enough in the tank. And I think that actually going for Zap, going for Rocket there, such short range might have been a loss of DPS more than anything. Fortunately, Nilla was there to do probably just enough back to keep that fight winning for NORD. Not quite winning enough though to take the fight afterwards and take the dragon. So nice little win for Venomcrest once again, 7-3, but the gold remains very, very even. Importantly as well, if we look at where the gold is located and how much it's located in either specific area, it's only 1 to 200 gold really in terms of any advantage for any given role. So nothing particularly to write home about. A very, very even state in terms of gold for the teams. I'm just currently looking at current strength of compositions. Corki almost got that Infinity Edge picked up once that's in the back pocket. Maybe an apex of the Corki's power to be hit. It's mid-tier 1. Unfortunately, nothing that NORD can do about it. Venomcrest can be more than happy to knock that one down. A reminder, NORD looking to play this split push game, looking to keep Yone and Gwen in the side lanes for as long as possible. If that means that NORD have to sacrifice a tier 1, something they're going to have to do. And if Lenny can end up winning out in this bot lane, that's going to be really, really detrimental.
Yeah, feels like when Nila will be able to complete that second item, the Void Staff, it will change quite a few things, needing that magic penetration to be able to do anything, because at the moment has a lot of respect for Lenny and he's feeling confident as well in this 1v1. It's clear to see that despite the goalie being small, it is Venomcrest who just feel that tad stronger at the moment.
Yeah.
If I am being completely honest, it feels like they are reaching their spikes earlier, while someone like Ecstasy, I would still need to see 1 or 2 more items, maybe even on the Jinx, before I say he's ready to carry a team fight. And just want to mention, the only bounty outside of Lingard who has a 200 gold bounty is the 300 gold bounty of Theocax. That's kind of crazy. 4-0-2. He's had a good game so far.
Nothing if not efficient.
Exactly, yeah.
This guy, Leandri's into Warmogs. Just boom. I needed damage, I bought damage. I need health, hey, I'm buying health. Let's see. Let's see what comes next. You know, it could very easily be, hey, another Fated Ashes. I
need AP Rabidons.
Hey, well, please. I don't know that that's the case.
It would be fun, though.
It would be very fun, don't get me wrong. Maybe we're going for something a little more geared toward the supportive style, though. I don't know.
Yeah, wouldn't be surprised. The 17-year-old Wonder Kid hasn't looked out of place, as need to be careful if he's out of position. But coming in from Mouse Academy, didn't have much success there or any to say. But in this team, he stepped up. He's looking a valuable part of it. As Alex now starting up the
Soul, by the way.
Yeah, as you say, the Soul. It's massive. Can the 17-year-old secure double Theocax stop him in his track? As Lenny starts to tank it up. The ultimate comes out already. Nila also throwing out the needle work. Alex being cut through here by Lingard. Forced to flash out to safety. The Drake still standing, by the way. Now no jungler to secure it. The Soul goes over to Venomcrest. They found Ecstasy. They found exactly everyone on NORD, to be honest. As far over the wall goes Lenny. Nila trying to outplay him, but not much to do when Casante's coming for you. Lingard goes rampage. The Baron is on the Rift. Maybe that's the ultimate prize here if they want to get even everything.
Soul +4 for Venomcrest. If NORD's game last week, they were winning the whole way through, and maybe we could make an argument for them being 4-0. Venomcrest this time round are putting that notion to bed very early on. They've got this lead now, 4,000 gold prior to the Baron going down. Really solid team fight once again from Venomcrest. Just target selection on point for them. Constantly looking first target, and this 5 versus 5 composition that they've got, it's working out. NORD, I asked 5 minutes ago, what are they going to do? Are they going to give the soul? Are they going to accept that they have to take a fight when they're going to be weaker? It was the latter. The fight just did not go their way. Teleport in from Hunt. He actually TP'd into the Krugs of all places, where Fierce TP's right into the fight. So it's effectively a 4 versus 5 where you don't have your fate sealed to do any following up at all. It's a really mismatched, awkward fight for NORD to try and take, and it just doesn't work out for them.
Yeah, Venom Crest now solidly in the driver's seat. Baron buff, Soul, gold lead, everything they could want. 2 minutes and 20 seconds to make the most of this as we take a look at the fight one more time.
Yeah, so just quick look at the minimap as well. Look at where Hunt TP's in, right? It's so far away, and Fierce is immediately into the action as soon as they join into the fight. And unfortunately, again, Ecstasy, as much as free hitting is great, the second he gets collapsed on, his team had already died. The front line had sort of crumbled around him. Wasn't able to pump out enough damage, and 2-item Jinx just not there.
Here, right? No. The Hello Mist keeps him alive for now as the burn
Leandries!
Theokag, second kill with the Leandries. Lenny should die to the turret, and the Ignite, no, barely makes it out. Ecstasy trying to cut through this HP bar, wanted to get something back in this game, but they can't.
Oh, TP straight into the mid lane as well from Lenny. They're looking to put this game to bed, Duckling. Turrets in the top lane, turrets in the mid lane. Granted, Hunt's pushing in the side lane, but all Fierce has to do is wave clear. It's not tricky for a Corki at this stage. This is nothing to be done.
Yeah, not even the 3 items on the Jinx is there yet, so the damage is nowhere in sight. Alex's HP par depleting by the second. Now the rotation comes through.
He's just tickling them.
Underneath the turret. Ecstasy might not even be there in the end because the damage is negligible. I can't speak English, man. Regardless.
It's not there, bro. That's all we need to say.
That's all I need to say as the fight is done. I mean, the gold lead. This game is over.
Never say it's over until it's fully over, Duckling.
Have I just
very strong scaling. I still see strong scaling. This game is very, very difficult for Venom Crest to lose. Let's put it that way. They've got 2 inhibitors down. Baron's still at their backs. Elder spawning in the next 2 minutes. Go bot lane. Make sure that you don't end up, fumbling over vision control. Make sure you don't get caught out in the spot side jungle while you're trying to take some jungle counts or anything along those lines. Set up vision around the bot side. Control mid lane. Control bot lane. In 2 minutes time, you can default back to the Elder.
What are you doing here, buddy? You're caught out. Fate sealed, though.
Okay.
Seals his own fate. That's survival. He's close to that 3-item point. That might be something, but looking at the items on Venom Crest, I do very much doubt it. Nile is on 2 items only. Ecstasy not quite on that 3rd. 4 items on Lingard. I mean, if he doesn't get one shot, he will just pop off and insta-carry the fight. Good bit of damage on him. Rooted. Cleanses burn, but Hunt. Hunt is pretty much already dead in the front, and actually Fierce claims it. They're all gone. Wipe off the rift. Venom Crest clean them up. The bases in their sights. The 4-1 scoreline soon to follow.
Venom Crest come out swinging versus NORD. A valiant fight with Fierce coming out on top.
It is an incredible game from them. All it took was a few big plays, a few small ones I could say as well, to be honest. They took an inch and they made it into a mile. They built this lead brick by brick, and yeah, what a performance from them. That's crazy. As soon as they got that lead, they felt so confident with it, despite that for many points of the game, if you just look at the kills and the gold, it was within 1,000 gold reach, but I can't remember a time where I felt, NORD feeling control here.
No, exactly. Venom Crest constantly had good control over that game, knew what they needed to do and how they were going to go about doing it. Those early Drake controls were honestly very pivotal. The Mountain Soul in the end proved to be a really defining feature. Just diving turrets like that doesn't come easily, but it does come a lot easier when you have a Cassante who's got 3 tank items and then a couple of double extra Mountain Drakes shielding him up with the Soul on top of that. So really, really solid stuff from Venom Crest. They find themselves now at the top of the leaderboard, leveled up with Ruddy. Soul position, not Soul, but joint first place now. Really good stuff, and hoping that tomorrow with a game that should be relatively easy up against Natives, looking at the standings, that they can go 2-0 on the weekend as well.
Yeah, it's certainly in their hands now. And with that, we'll throw it to a break, though. Thank you so much for joining me, Rooted. It's been a pleasure being back on the cast with you. When we come back from this short break, the analyst desk will have a post-game show to talk about the league, how things are going. and do interviews, of course. So we'll see you right after this break. Don't go anywhere.
Break it down, break it down. Step on the gas, let's get out of town. We gonna break out and have some fun. We gonna do what you never done. Oh yeah, yeah. Come on, take your body with you. It's a money weekend. Everything we wanna, we go do. We go do. It's leisure, we go do.
At SteelSeries, we make the headsets, mice and keyboards that the world's best gamers win the most with. And we've been doing it since way back. It's up to you how far you go, but whatever you do, go for glory.
Venom Crest winning versus NORD means that Ruddy takes the first place, and then Venom Crest take the second, NORD following into the third one. It was a good game, it was an interesting one, and at the end of the day, we got to see Xante yet again, but Maokai doing a lot of work.
Yeah, I think Foxy raised the perfect point. There was a real lack of mobility on the carry. Jinx did not get to play the game. Jinx needs items to really be relevant. There's a big front line to break through. That Xante though, god damn. Lenny just like multiple times would 1v X number underneath a tower. Absolute beast on the Xante. Really, really impressive performance from him. And I mean, the whole team just had Nord's number, and Nord kept trying to team fight when I don't think they should have been team fighting. They should have just played sides.
Yeah.
Especially on the Dragon, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, this is the difficulty, honestly, with the whole situation that Nord found themselves in this game. Is like they didn't really want to be grouped up too much. They wanted to play sides, but they lost the first dragon, they lost the second dragon, and then they lost the third dragon. It's like, well, crap, we're gonna have to group up and fight. Oh, we have to contest, so we're gonna lose Soul. And you can't give Mountain Soul over to a team with 3 tanks, a Leona, a Xante, a Maokai. You just can't do it. So you're forced to group up and fight, and they didn't want to do that. They couldn't do that, and they lost. So yeah, they wanted a bit more time to work those side lanes, and for Jinx to actually become a bit of a threat if they did want to group up, but none of those things came to fruition. And as such, Venom Crest, honestly, all in all, had a pretty solid win there. Pretty clean stuff. Didn't really look like it was going to be too hairy for them at all at any point there. So, and across the board, they all played really well. I know we talked about the Xante and the Maokai doing really well too, but still Lingard was great. He was like 5-0 something. Like, he was a huge threat too. So yeah, really well played there from Venom Crest.
A big fight between two of the big three. So let's talk with NORD to begin with and understand where the plan went down. With that in mind, we brought it up. Nile, welcome to the interview. We get to meet each other again. And it was a rough game. My question to you is, the plan with the Jinx, with a lot of CC on the other side, that was a complicated situation for the draft, no?
Yeah, I mean, maybe could have picked something different.
You there?
Hello, can you hear me?
Nile?
Hello, can you hear me?
Hey? I don't think he's good. Can you don't hear me?
Wait, I can hear you.
Okay. You good? Can we start? So I'll start over. My question.
Can you hear me?
Yeah. We good.
Okay.
So my question to you to begin with was the idea of picking the Jinx versus such a high CC team. That was a rough position to put yourselves into, right?
Yeah, I mean, maybe we could have picked something different. I'm not sure. I mean, guess we felt kind of the comfort with Jinx because we've been winning with a lot. So yeah, maybe it was a bit rough this game.
And also pulling the Gwen out of nowhere. Were you expecting to play the Gwen? Was that something that you pulled at the end of the Champion Select? I saw like a glimpse of Vayne. I got worried for you, but you pulled out the Gwen. What was your preferred position to play on the top lane versus Xante?
I mean, I think I had a lot of options to go for, and I think in my eyes, like Gwen looked really good this game, and we kind of needed some AP damage maybe. So I think Gwen kind of fit well, but yeah, it's also, I mean, a bit harder comp to execute because we have 2 side laners, so it's not your like easy front to back team fight. So it's a bit harder to perform on as well.
Yeah, the Champion Select kind of dripped into the game itself, and it was complicated to execute against that team. But moving out of the game, let's talk about next week, because it seems like you will play versus Ready, and this is a big battle between the top big 3 of the team. What can we expect from that matchup? Because I think that will be the game of the week itself. What would you say for that matchup?
I mean, yeah, will be for sure exciting game. Hope we perform a bit better than today.
hopefully, and yeah, I think it will be a good game.
Where do you think you will take over Ruddy? If you had to pick like a reason why NORD will win versus Ruddy, what would it be?
I mean, that's kind of hard to say. I'm not sure. Probably top cap, I guess.
Okay, love it. Nila, thank you for the interview. I was just trying to bait something out of you, and it was a lovely game, man. It's really good to see like the top three battling against each other. So keep shining, man. I'll see you soon.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Obviously, like I want to poke the bear to see what's gonna happen next week. I always love that. But interesting that they brought up the idea that Champion Select itself was harder to execute versus the composition from Venomcrest, and we saw that on live.
Yeah, I think they got drafted into a corner in this Champ Select. I think that caused them some issues. We talked about the Jinx immobility, the lack of AP was a big thing, so I think they felt like they had to pick that Gwen. Personally, maybe there was a world where they changed out the Sejuani, put the Sedge top, and then picked like a Karthus or something, and you have another damage threat on the team. Someone who can assist with the 1-3-1 as well, because Karthus doesn't have to be there to make the play work, because he can just ult from wherever. I think things like that might have been a bit of a difference maker, but you know, this is all retrospectively looking back and trying to change time. Ultimately, they made mistakes and they gave up a little bit too much on the Dragons, which forced them into fights, and ultimately that was their demise. They played into a team who were drafted for the team fight, and they weren't really drafted to match it. So it was a bit of a mistake by NORD, but we have to go to Venomcrest. Venomcrest played this very well, drafted it incredibly well. We talked a lot about how Lenny was just a complete menace on the Cassante. Champion's broken, so no real surprises on that, but Theo on the Maokai, super impactful in team fights. I know who's MVP, but before we talk about the MVP, I feel like you could have made an argument for literally anyone on Venomcrest to be MVP, and I would have respected that opinion. They all played phenomenally in this game.
But it was the Maokai. The Maokai at the end of the day is the MVP. He brought the AP, the HP, he brought everything, but 5-0-11 coming into this game with 84% kill participation, Fox.
That's a lot, isn't it? When you look at that and you see it's a Maokai. He did rush the Leandries, but an 84% kill participation. Even those damage stats, 21% and 600 DPM, that is a lot of damage. And he's Maokai, for goodness sake. Yeah, you get Leandries first, but aside from that, he was going full tank. I think he was just really instrumental in setting up his team for that early game success, getting those lanes ahead, getting Venomcrest in a position where they were able to then secure those objectives and secure those dragons, which ultimately was, to be honest, the demise of NORD when it came down to it, when it came to contesting that fourth dragon. Because, yeah, NORD was taking all the grubs, and you think, yeah, 6 grubs for a team that wants to split push, that's great, but you've traded 2 dragons for it. Okay, not great. We don't want a team fight. Let's not get ourselves on soul point, but honestly, Theo was just, he was something else, honestly, that game. I thought he was sick, and he got some pretty cheeky little plays, didn't he, with his saplings? Those, like
couple of kills where people they'd waddle out of a fight being like, I made it, pop. Like, really nasty little position of some of those. And yeah, I respect it. I respect the Leandries rush on a Maokai. It's always a little bit more fun. Maokais have had it bad. Them and the Mumu players have been eating bad since Demonic Embrace got taken away.
You know what? Let's talk with someone who piloted a really complicated champion in order to get this game. So let's talk with the top lane, Lenny, with Xante. Hello. Welcome.
Hello, guys.
I mean, people were saying he played the Xante. It is what it is. Nah, talk about it. Talk about the game. Could you just won versus NORD? In your opinion?
Yeah, because I mean, this is my friend Romeo. But I think the victory is really important, this. And I think now it's a playoff and you master.
So you're showing up like, hey, we can get EMEA Masters, we can go without one. There's a top 3 in the league, NORD, Venomcrest, and Ruddy. You guys lost versus Ruddy, but you won versus NORD. In your opinion, once you're able to match up versus Ruddy again, how can it be different from the previous time?
I think I don't will show all your strategy, but I think we know how to beat them, and yeah, I think the next season will be better.
There's something in the waiting. I see. When you look into your team, how would you describe Venom Crest? Like, if you met someone that is new to the league, like a new viewer, and you're like, I play for Venom Crest, and I'm like, okay, how do they play? How would you describe Venom Crest?
I think right now we play really macro. We have a really good macro. We play well. We don't overstand. We try to don't take too much risk, and yeah, but we are very aggressive. We need to play the most. We are not like AFK farm, or we try to engage.
That's a strategy. Yeah, I like it. Tell me something, Lenny. Last question. If you had to pick a champion and play it until the end of the split, who would it be?
Not Cassante for sure.
Please, thank you.
Yeah, bro, I just want to play something else. Bro, he's always open. But I think
that's it.
This
Disrespecting you, man. But tell me. Pick a champion.
I think. I really like Kennen.
Kennen.
Yeah, I like range, but maybe I think Kennen. Legit, I'm in love with Kennen right now.
Okay, let's see if one day you're able to pull that cannon on the top side. Thank you so much for the interview, Lenny. Pleasure to meet you. And congratulations on the victory, man. I got points because of you, so thank you for that one.
Yeah, don't worry. That's for me, but always for me. I got you.
Thank you, man. Have a lovely one. And there you go. So with that in mind, Venom Crest will take second place, not the first one, because of Ruddy. Because on the face-to-face, Ruddy is ahead. So Ruddy will take the first one. Venom Crest will take the second one. NORD are tied up with LLS and DMG. Interesting to see that one. Verdant in 6th place, followed up by Natives with their first victory. Still waiting for the second. And Blue Whites got close, but not enough. Still with an 0-5. Looking at the standings from the week 3, day 1, any surprise though?
Not really on the front of the outcome of the games so far. Everything really went to plan. NORD versus Venom Crest was definitely up in the air for a lot of people. I, like a lot of the other casters, went for NORD to win this game, but I'm not surprised at all to see Venom Crest win it. It was a very hard call to make between the two of them. Just kind of looking forward to next week. Obviously, we still got tomorrow to go, but next week we have Lightside playing versus Venom Crest and Ruddy playing versus NORD on the first day. There is a world where if Lightside beat Venom Crest and NORD beat Ruddy, we have a four-way tie and all of them have beaten each other because Ruddy lost to Lightside as well. We could have like an incredible rock, paper, scissors, lizard, Spock situation where there's just loads of teams Spider-Man memeing, kind of pointing guns at each other. It's top's gonna be top of the table. Could be really fun by the end of the first day of next week. I don't care about tomorrow now. I just want to get on to next week and see how this is gonna go down. Obviously, all of those teams do need to win their games next tomorrow, and NORD have got Blue Whites. Let's be real, should be an easy win. Lightside versus Verdant, probably the hardest of the games for our top end teams tomorrow. But damn, we got some good games coming up tomorrow, actually. All of the teams.
It's changing.
Ruddy versus DMG. I think DMG looks really solid right now. They're probably my dark horse of the split, DMG.
Yeah.
I agree. Fox, what do you think?
Yeah, I'm with Jake on that one. I think DMG have looked really solid, quite surprisingly so, honestly. But to be perfectly honest, the way the standings are looking here, I actually think this might just be how the split ends as well, like positionally speaking. I think maybe you chuck in DMG instead of Lightside. Lightside might just miss out a little bit. Personally, I just think from what I've seen from them. Happy to be wrong, of course, but when you've got Venom Crest, Ruddy, NORD rounding out the top 3, in my opinion, and then that 4th spot I think will go to DMG. You know, I just think already, despite how close it has been, the next, I'd say tomorrow and the next week will really solidify that opinion of mine. But so far, from what I've seen at this point, I would not be surprised to see those standings carry all the way through to the end of the entire split. Maybe like whoever's in like, you know, first and second might like fluctuate a little bit and stuff. But to be honest, like I just think it's quite reflective of what we've seen, you know. And most importantly, I will say, to just cap things off here, Blue White will win at least 1 or 2 games this split, and I'm looking forward to seeing who that comes up against and how that throws a spanner in the wrench of the standings.
Oh, that's going to be interesting if they change the entire standings, if they are like that Canuck event, that eventful event. But with that in mind, if you're playing the Fantasy League, you know, if you're betting on ruddy players, you're doing a good bet, at least in the standings. And if you're the best at the end of the split, you'll get one of these prizes. One for the first, the second, and the third one. If you don't know what I'm talking about, head on to the social media and sign up for the Fantasy League. Steel Cities is helping, but you have to help yourself by picking the best players. And if we're talking about picking, let's look at what we picked in predictions and see how the day ended. Because we had some spicy predictions coming in from Foxdrop, at least
How'd that pay off for you, bro?
Not too good.
That's a 0-point day for you.
Yeah, that's all right. I'm net neutral. That's not too bad, to be fair. Although everyone else is probably quite up. Oh, me and Rude Dude both. Me and Rude Dude are both on a 0. But yeah, Initialize, the perfect day. Look at him go. Bit of a coward, only slammed down 1 5.0, and that was one against Blue White. So
Wait.
I see you, Sam.
I think I got robbed because I put on Venom Crest, but it's okay. It's okay.
You can't retrospectively say that now, mate. That's not how it works.
I'm looking at my predictions. I'm like, I didn't. Sorry.
Yeah, I put 5 points on Venom Crest as well.
No, you didn't.
And 5 on Light Side. That Ruddy, that one should be a 5 as well. That should be plus 20. I've been robbed too. I know how you feel, Archer, mate.
You know what? I'll take the -1 because it's not that big of a deal at the end of the day compared to you, which brings us into the standings. Now we're going to look at how that situation put. Yeah, you're still positive.
How does it feel to be that far behind Duckling, though?
Oh boy.
It's all right. It's early days. It's early days, right?
It is early days.
So don't you worry. I'll be keep on swinging for the fences, and one of these days you guys are going to be losing a whole bunch of points and I'll be laughing.
Playoffs are going to
-20 at that point.
Playoffs are going to put me in the minus. I can never predict playoffs.
It's going to happen.
It's done at playoffs. I need to basically build as bigger landing pad, because I am going to be humbled. I am going to be falling from great heights as soon as playoffs start.
All of us.
Yeah. This playoffs.
I ain't got far to fall, so to be fair.
We'll be landing on you.
Us a lead.
Yeah, you will.
He's just giving us a lead, like start running. I'll catch up in playoffs. Don't worry about it. Talking about catching up, well, it's your time to catch up and head on to Twitter, not only to sign up on the Fantasy League, but also to vote on the MVP of the day. We had 4 games and we had 4 MVPs. And at the end of the day, it's up to you to go there and vote on Bucci, Alex, Free Fresh, or Theocax. You know what they did. You know what they played. Fruity Fresh with the Smolder 1403, just saying. This was a massive day for all of them, so step up, go onto Twitter, and put in your not predictions, but on your MVP votes. For us on the desk, lovely gentlemen, I would like to know your goodbyes of today. I don't know if you guys will be casting tomorrow, but I don't think I'll be seeing you on the desk. So tell me, end of week 3, day 1.
Back Asante. Like, genuinely, our teams really need to respect Cassante. The amount of times this champion gets through and wins a game for the team you're playing against is abysmal. Ban that champion. He is not okay. He does way too much damage. Learn from your goddamn mistakes. We are now 3 weeks in and this champion is still tearing it up on the Rift.
Jake,
ban him.
I have an alternative. Don't ban Cassante. Hire Bucci.
Oh.
There's only one Bucci to go around. So everyone else has to ban Cassante. If you're
like
Bucci, don't ban it, pick
it. Sounds like a skill issue.
The king today. He went up against Cassante, had the Renekton, and he was brilliant, honestly. I think, considering you look at the KDAs down there, and you see obviously like 14-0 and all this, whatever. Bucci's like 5-3-4. Ooh, like a bit of a clown show compared to the other ones. But the actual impact that man had in that game. I genuinely think if that person is not Bucci, I don't think they win that game. Straight up.
Yeah.
He took a day off. picked up Renekton on his day back and just demolished Xante the entire side lane and just pushed the game until he won. Like,
Good shit.
it's up to you, folks at home. It's up to you to vote on the MVP. And at the end of the day, to me, you are the MVP of the show for showing up every single day and supporting the Northern League of Legends Championship. We're on week 3, day 1, but tomorrow we have day 2. And so it's up to you to join us same time, same place. I'll see you soon. And until then, keep climbing.